And we start with the second part of Unit 7, which deals with parents and young children. And so I would like to make it full screen. So can you see the slide?
It's not full screen.
screen, ma'am.
It's not full screen.
I see. So we go back and what about now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Now, ma'am, it is. Now it's full screen, ma'am.
Mhm. So, well, first of all, I would like to say some words on some comments on the video task. It was a pleasure for me to watch your videos because I could see some of the students for the first time, like in person. And so I need to say thank you for being so open and so sincere and so optimistic in your stories. So, and many qualities seem familiar to me, and I can see that we have a lot in common. These features are so natural that they are an integral part of any personality. And so as for the benefits for you, I hope that this activity has helped you to focus and understand your strengths and weaknesses, and to get rid of negative traits, and to improve your character so that you can be more successful in life. And it can
Yes,
also
ma'am.
help to overcome fears, as some of the students say, of public speaking on the stage, because the more you practice, the better your skill become. And I would like to just cite some, there are some sentences from the student speech. For example, the first one says the right mindset can turn your weaknesses into your strengths, and analyzing one's weaknesses is always a strong point. So I like it very much. And then no one is perfect as long as you want to overcome your weakness. Everything is possible. And weaknesses can be converted into strengths, and knowing your weakness helps you to conquer it. They are so just positive and so optimistic. So I appreciate your videos. It was like talking to everyone in person, and you are very good speakers. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for providing us such
Thank
a
you,
task.
ma'am.
And
Yes, ma'am.
those students who have any problems, please just do something, because I'm eager to see your stories. So please upload your stories so that I can watch them, and it's a pleasure for me to talk to you. It's like a conversation. Well, now there was also the second task, vocabulary task, where you were to to complete. There was a matching task. Almost everything was all right, and as for the second task, the task was to complete conversations between doctors and patients, and write the name of the illness. And so some of the students missed this sentence, that you should use the informal terms from the table. So not like the medical terms like varicella or influenza, but like flu or chickenpox. And there was a problem with the first situation. Let us have a look at the sentences. So when the doctor asks what seems to be the problem, the trouble, the patient answers, my eyes and my nose are running all the time. I feel terrible. So we understand runny nose. And when the doctor asks, when did this begin? The answer is at the beginning of July. So what happens at the beginning of summer? Maybe it's not your case. I mean, that it's not so common in your country, but if, for example, we speak about the United Kingdom, so a lot of trees blossom at the beginning of summer or in July, in the middle of summer. And so the doctor your diagnosis sometimes was not so exact. I mean, there are several options here. It's probably just a cold, coryza, hay fever. So if we say cold, coryza, it's the same, as you know. But is it cold?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it cold, or is it some allergy?
It's allergic rhinitis, right?
Allergic, ma'am, due to
Allergic.
pollen.
So that is, yes,
Allergic.
that is why we should say that this is hay fever.
Hay fever.
Because this is informal term. So the right diagnosis was to use hay fever. Okay, and there were also some problems with the second situation. What's the problem? It's my son. He's got a rash and swelling in his armpits. Does he have a fever? Yes. Some students wrote that this is whooping cough, but there is no information about cough. So here. And so the keyword here in this situation is swelling. Yes. And rash and swelling and fever, high temperature. So is it whooping cough or German measles?
German measles, ma'am.
Yes.
German measles.
This is
Measles,
German
ma'am.
measles. The medical term is rubella. This is
Yes,
German
ma'am.
measles. Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that were the typical mistakes in vocabulary task. Well, and what we are going to, sorry, yes.
Listening to
What we are going to do to start with today is we're going to listen to a conversation where the doctor just tries to reassure an anxious parent of a little baby. And now let us listen to this extract. So this is a conversation between Dr. Thompson from emergency, who is reassuring a mother, Mrs. Allen, and the mother is anxious that her child has meningitis. So have a look at the sentences, and while listening, we should complete the sentences using no more than 4 words. We can use less than 4, but no more than 4. So I'm going to switch it on, and you'll tell me if you can hear, okay?
listening to
Yes, ma'am. we can
Mrs.
hear.
Allen.
Yes.
Good. Now one more time.
Listening to
Mrs. Allen, from our examination and from what you've told me, it doesn't really look like meningitis. But what he has got is a barking cough and a touch of fever. I think he's actually got croup. Now, you said he's had this once this year in the spring.
Yes, around March, I think. And I went to my GP then.
What did he say it was then?
The same as you, I think.
Did you use steam the last time?
A little.
Well, if you use steam, it'll help to ease the cough.
So you don't think it's meningitis?
No, if it were, I'd expect him to be very unwell. He probably wouldn't be able to run around the way he is. He'd maybe be a bit more listless. And he'd maybe have a rash and shy away from the light.
I've seen on one of the posters that difficulty moving his head is related to meningitis.
Ah, yes, it is. But Mrs. Allen, if he had neck stiffness, he wouldn't be able to move about the way he is.
I was just scared it might be something serious.
That's what every mother might feel in the circumstances, and you're very right to be cautious.
Thank you, Doctor.
Keep an eye on him, and don't hesitate to contact your GP immediately or come and see us if there are any changes, or if he starts crying in an odd way.
Okay, thanks. I feel a bit more relaxed about it.
Oh, is there anything else you'd like to ask before I write?
So, did you manage to write the missing words, or do we need to listen for the second time? So, should we listen for the second time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Listening 2.
Mrs. Allen, from our examination and from what you've told me, it doesn't really look like meningitis. But what he has got is a barking cough and a touch of fever. I think he's actually got croup. Now, you said he's had this once this year in the spring.
Yes, around March, I think. And I went to my GP then.
What did he say it was then?
The same as you, I think.
Did you use steam the last time?
A little.
Well, if you use steam, it'll help to ease the cough.
So you don't think it's meningitis?
No, if it were, I'd expect him to be very unwell. He probably wouldn't be able to run around the way he is. He'd maybe be a bit more listless. And he'd maybe have a rash and shy away from the light.
I've seen on one of the posters that difficulty moving his head is related to meningitis.
Ah, yes, it is. But Mrs. Allen, if he had neck stiffness, he wouldn't be able to move about the way he is.
I was just scared it might be something serious.
That's what every mother might feel in the circumstances, and you're very right to be cautious.
Thank you, Doctor.
Keep an eye on him, and don't hesitate to contact your GP immediately or come and see us if there are any changes, or if he starts crying in an odd way.
Okay, thanks. I feel a bit more relaxed about it.
Oh, is there anything else you'd like to ask before I write?
So this is the example how a doctor can reassure a parent and just make her feel less nervous about the condition of her child. Now let us read what we've written here, which words are missing. Arun Chalam, what about the first sentence? Read
Yes,
it,
ma'am.
please.
First sentence, I think he's actually got dash. No, I think he's actually got the barking cough and with a bit of fever, actually croup.
Croup, yes. So the doctor says croup, it's croup, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So Madhumita, read the second sentence, please.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if you steam, it dash the cough. It'll help to ease the cough, ma'am.
Good. So now Divya.
Yes, ma'am. If it were, I had dashed him to very unwell.
So what is missing here? So who can help us? Yes, I mean.
Ma'am, it is, if it were, I'd expect him to be very unwell.
Thank you. Then let us listen to Priya. So Priya is just joining us. I guess Rajkumar is absent. Badris is absent. Prerna, are you here?
Sorry, ma'am, I had a bad connection. Can you please tell me where I have to continue?
I see. So, Nishat?
From fourth one.
Fourth,
Okay,
fourth, it
yes,
says,
Prerna. Yes.
and he dash have a rash and shy away from the light more. And he maybe have a rash and shy away from the light more.
Mhm. It may have.
Maybe
Yes.
he maybe have a
Okay, yes. Oh, this. So, Nishat, the next sentence.
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Fifth one. That's what dash in the circumstances, and you are very right to be cautious.
Mhm.
That's what every mother might feel in the circumstances, ma'am.
Okay, right.
Thank
The next is for Prakriti.
Ma'am, keep an dash and do not hesitate to conduct your GB immediately or ma'am, keep on eye.
Exactly, you're right. Okay. Then Sanhita.
Yes, ma'am. Comment yes if there are dash. Comment yes if there are any changes.
Any changes? Yes. So it's why do we pay such attention to these sentences? We need to understand. So if we move to the next slide,
Listening to.
we should answer the questions. Which of these statements does the doctor use to reassure the patient? So just the most reassuring sentences. Which ones are they here?
that every mother might feel same in the circumstances.
Mhm.
And comments yes if there
Fifth
are
one.
any changes.
Yes.
If there are any
Seventh one
changes.
also.
Yes, okay. Yes, Samhita.
Ma'am, it can be also the comment yes if there are any changes and keep. That's what any mother will do in the circumstances.
Mhm. Okay, so reassuring means to helping just the parent to relax. So this is like she says, the doctor says, if it were meningitis, like I'd expect him to be very unwell, right? So this sentence.
Yes.
Mhm. And the next one also just and he may have a rash and shy away from the light more if he had meningitis. Okay, just the doctor gives example that it is not meningitis, just helps a parent to calm down. And which statement shows empathy? There is one statement which shows
that every mother might feel in
That's what every mother
circumstance.
feel
Right.
in the circumstances.
Exactly. The doctor probably also is a mother, and so she says that she shows her empathy to the patient. Okay, just connects her own experience with this situation. And in the conversation, we've seen the structure which is called the first conditional sentence. So let's have a look at this diagram. And there is information about the structure, the usage, and there are some examples. So as for the structure of the first conditional sentence, so this is a complex sentence which consists of two parts. The first part is a so-called if clause, which has the word if, and the next part is the main clause. So as for the first conditional, after if, we normally use the simple present tense. And in the main clause, we can use future, like subject plus will or will not, won't, and a verb in the first form, so without particle to. As for the meaning of the first conditional sentence, this is, we use it to talk about possibilities in the present or in the future. It's very important to understand that if we speak about future, anyway, we can't use the future simple in the if clause. Instead of future, we should use the present tense. Like in the examples which are given here, if it rains, I will stay at home. If it rains tomorrow, but rains is used in the present form. And the second example, if I wake up late, I will miss the bus. The same case, like will miss in the main clause is used in the future simple form, but in the if clause, wake up is used in the present. So the same information is here about if plus subject plus present simple form, and main clause subject plus will, and infinitive without to. So the doctor uses the first conditional to talk about a situation where the result is a real possibilities in the future. So if you use steam, it'll help to ease the cough. So, and there is also another form, conditional structure, which is called second conditional. So as for the structure, in the if clause, we use the past simple tense. And in the main clause, the present conditional structure, which is would plus verb in the bare form, or wouldn't plus verb. And as for the meaning of the second conditional structure, it shows imaginary hypothetical situations in the present or future. Examples: if I won $1 million, I would buy a new car. So it's imaginary situation. It could never happen in the future, right? And if I were you, I would quit smoking. It's impossible to be on the place of another person. That is why it's imaginary. That is why we use the second conditional. And pay attention that if we use such a structure, if I were you on your place, like we use were, the verb to be should be used in the plural, like were, not was, as we can expect because I is singular. So, and the next example, if I were the president, I would lower taxes. Also, the past simple in the if clause, and would plus infinitive in the main clause. The next sentence starts with the main clause. They would stay longer if they had more time. And you can see that if we start with the if clause, we use comma between the if clause and the main clause. But if we start with the main clause, there is no comma before if. The next is, if I won $1 million, I could stop working. It's also an imaginary situation. And if I had more free time, I could travel around the world. And so here, similar information related to the conversation here. So second conditional is used for hypothetical and real situations, like if plus subject plus past simple, and the main clause subject plus would and infinitive. And the doctor uses the second conditional to reassure the mother by showing that the child is not suffering from a particular condition. If he had meningitis, I would expect him to be very unwell if it were meningitis, and so on. So this is the information, just to refresh what we know about these two structures. And so some more comments. When you reflect on your experience, you can also use the second conditional to show what you would do to improve your experience. Like if I faced the same situation again, I would do things very differently. So you understand that it's impossible to just be in the same situation one more time. That is why it's hypothetical situation and we use the second conditional structure. Well, now I would like you to look at the sentences here. Here we have the first part of the second, the first part of the sentences. There are 4 sentences here, and the endings for them. So the task is to decide whether if clauses are real or hypothetical first, and then complete the sentences with these just second parts, putting the verbs into the correct tense. So if we have a look at the first sentence, so let us listen to Samhita.
Yes, ma'am.
Read it, please.
Sentence is if it were group, she have a really bad bargaining cough. Sentence can be
Just if it were group, we should change the verb form instead of have. What should we use? The connection is bad. Okay, so it looks like you mean that we need to change the form of have in would. Yes, would have. If it were
She
group,
would have a
she
bad
would have.
really bad
Yes.
bargaining cough.
And this is it real or hypothetical situation?
Hypothetical
Ma'am,
situation.
Hypothetical, yes. That is why we use the second conditional. So please connect the sentences, write the sentences individually. So please, this is just a task for you. Let us just 2 minutes, please. Start this. Well, let us check what we've done. Rafa, please. The sentence number 2 is for you.
Yes, ma'am. If we do not do these screening tests, then it is like if we do not do these screening tests, it would increase the risk of permanent damage.
Mhm. So is it real or hypothetical? So which tense is used in the if clause?
Hypothetical.
If we
Is
do
it
not,
hypo-
Hypothetical because
Hypothetical.
this
It would.
Second condition is used.
so look, if we do not do these screening tests, which tense is used in the if clause? Do not do. Is it present or
Yes.
past?
Present. Simple
present, ma'am.
present.
So we use the present if the situation is real. This is first conditional sentence. So that is why in the main clause, we should say it will increase. Yes, the future tense. This is also the sign of the real situation, the first conditional. So that the danger is real. So that is why we use the first conditional structure. Okay, Ayman, please, the next sentence.
Yes, ma'am. The next one is if you get the patient to relax, it will be it will be easier to carry out the procedure. So here, ma'am, the tense used is first is present tense, and the next one is a simple future tense, ma'am.
So the
So-
situation is,
First conditional situation, ma'am.
yes, this
That
is a real condition. Mhm.
Real.
Real
Okay.
condition, yes, ma'am.
Mhm, thank you. So Aramchalam, please, sentence number 4.
At 6 weeks, if you stare at a baby's face, she will normally stare back.
Yes, she'll normally, she'll normally stare back, okay? Is it real or hypothetical?
Real only. ma'am.
Real,
Real,
yes.
ma'am.
So first conditional, present after if, and then there is a future will stare. Okay, and there is a second part of similar task. Similar task, there are 4 more sentences. So we can start now, and well, we'll start. Yes, there is only 1 minute left, so it's better to take a break now, and so meet you in 10 minutes. Okay.